so today I thought I would discuss the really lighthearted topic of is not wanting to fuck a trans person transphobic? Also, is not wanting to date someone of a certain race racist? And to throw it in for good measure, the am I a dickhead for avoiding disabled people on dating apps?
Hello everyone and welcome to Cleaning the Loader Box with Dr. Fluffy. Today, another person who thinks she can force you to date who they want you to date. In this case we have Fiona, Riley Tennis, Main Squeeze. What do you got for us, girl?
Spoiler, yeah, kinda, but hear me out, hear me out.
No, not really. People have the right to have preferences. Regardless, they can date whoever they want to. But I will hear you out.
Now before I go any further, I am not saying that you have to have sex with any kind of person, okay? You do not have to have sex with a trans person, or a black person, or an Asian person, or a disabled person. Now that that's out of the way, allow me to explain.
What else do you actually need to explain? You already said everything. Nobody needs to date someone who they are not attracted to and they don't want to. I think it's over. Why the smug face?
Essentially this whole thing came up because some lovely cis lesbians were tweeting on the internet.com about how they'll never have sex with a trans person. Which firstly, cool, like nobody asked. Nobody was out there tweeting them being like, yo, FYI, you gotta fuck a trans person.
Actually, your boyfriend has been doing that. So maybe those lesbians are responding to people like him trying to pressure them to date people they don't want to date. Just maybe, if you leave them alone, they will not care.
But they kindly took it upon themselves to remind us that no, they definitely will not have sex with a trans girl. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Again, leave them alone. Don't tell them they have to be attracted to trans people, and they probably will stop telling you they are not.
And it kind of felt like you couldn't ask, oh, why not, without being accused of lesbian erasure, which to me doesn't really sound like it makes much sense, because why would asking a lesbian why she doesn't want to have sex with a certain kind of woman be lesbian erasure, unless you don't think trans women are women? But this
I think this still is perfect because you look like a crazy person talking, because you used a lot of made up terms that don't mean anything. And by the way, fact checking. If we're talking biologically, yes, they are not women. So, especially when you're considering that homosexuality is a biological tendency to be attracted by the person of the same gender, then it's normal that they will not be attracted of a person that is not biologically from the same gender as they are. It's kind of normal. There may be people that will be attracted, but you cannot expect and you cannot demand it from them. Because again, trans women are not biological women, so again, a homosexual person who's attracted because of their biology is not going to be attracted to someone who is biologically not from the same sex as they are. Point made, it's biology.
issue isn't applicable to cis lesbians only by any means. A lot of cis people, largely monosexual cis people, are super guilty of this.
Guilty of what? Being normal and having sexual preferences that are normal? I'm sorry, but I don't feel guilty at all. I don't feel guilty at all to be attracted just to normal women. So I'm sorry if you're a trans woman, I'm not going to discriminate you in any way in my day-to-day life, but I have the right not to be attracted to you and not to want to be in a sexual relation to you. I'm sorry, that's my preference. I have my rights as a heterosexual man, like the homosexual women have their rights to be attracted to whatever they want to be attracted to. You cannot force people to be attracted to what you want to be attracted. You're the one guilty of trying to force people to do something they don't want to.
The discussion then kindly led into why they wouldn't have sex with a black girl either, which, I was kind of just staring at my phone at that point, like, just why I gotta say those things? Many of these reasons simmer down to preferences.
Yes, people have the right to have preferences, regardless of what you think of them. It's their sexual life. You have no business telling them what they can or cannot do with their sexual life.
I want to say right now, you can 100% have preferences, but I find that the preferences argument in a lot of these situations tends to be a really weak as shit excuse for being, oh god, how do I say this, super transphobic.
No, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but having preferences is not transphobic at all. First of all, transphobic is a ridiculous word. Phobia is a irrational fear of something. Not wanting to date a trans person is not a phobia. They are not afraid of the trans person. They just are not attracted to them. And they have the right not to be.
And just like a little bit racist. Now let's explore why. Because for me, preferences are things that you prefer. If my preference was big boobs, it doesn't mean that I would completely cancel out dating someone with small boobs. If my preference was someone with freckles, or a big nose, or small eyes, it doesn't mean I would cancel out somebody because they don't have those things. People prefer redheads but date brunettes, or prefer to date someone who's a CEO or comedian or magician, but will date people who aren't those things. But when it comes to trans people, there's often a very hard line. And this line isn't normally drawn just at genitalia or gender expression, it's drawn at trans people.
No, let me explain to you. There's a lot of different levels of preferences. There are levels of preferences like, okay, I prefer this, but I'll still date this. Especially because a lot of times, you know, we forgot to talk about personality. Sometimes you fall in love with someone who physically is not your type, but the personality is totally your type, and things develop. But that's completely different. Then you have preferences that you're not attracted to that. Like, for example, heterosexuality and homosexuality, we can say that is a preference, but it's like a biological preference. You cannot actually go beyond that. It's hardwired on you. And some things, some preference that you have, it's just natural. It doesn't mean you think less of those people. You're just not sexually attracted to them. There are girls that are incapable of dating short guys. There are guys that are short, they are incapable of dating tall girls. There are guys that are incapable of dating girls from certain races. It's not racism, because it doesn't mean that they think any less of those races. They just are attracted to the features those races have, and it's totally fine. I love mostly the short girl, brunette, with very pale gothic style chicks, but I wouldn't say no to like not actually a black girl, but more like a mixture, you know, like Rihanna style of girl. But for example, black girls, I'm not attracted in the least. But for example, I'm really attracted to Asian chicks. But it depends the country of they're from. Like Korean chicks, I like a lot. Japanese, I like a lot. Chinese, there are some cases. There are some cases, but it's mostly, not really. It depends. It's preferences. It's not something a lot of times you have even conscience of. It's something that you develop naturally. But regarding trans people, you know, you take something out of sex and dating that is very important. Most people want to date people by an instinct of reproduction. Trans people cannot reproduce because their genitals are false, because mostly of all, there's someone from the other sex that transitioned through the other sex, so they're basically sterile. And now for even worse news, most transitions actually don't go well, and they do not pass by someone from the other gender. And that's something that causes a lot of problem for those people, because those people then have the hard time finding a date. Because if like a trans woman, for example, that actually passes by a woman, already has a hard time finding someone who actually to date, imagine somebody whose transition was a failure. That's why you have a high suicide rate, because loneliness is a really tough thing. But that's not other people's fault or the preference of other people's fault. Blame the disease and the lack of a better treatment for the illness. Don't blame other people.
So a gay man might say that he's gay and he loves dick and his sexuality is defined by the fact that he loves penis. Fantastic. Because sexuality is all about sex. A lot of them shout. If you ask if they would, by their own logic, date a trans woman because she has a penis and that's what their sexuality boils down to, the answer is often still no. So what you're really saying is that you would never date a trans person. And let's imagine if you said that you would never date a black person, or a disabled person, or a bisexual person. I'm not saying that you can't have preferences. You can prefer to date someone who looks or acts or is a certain way. Completely ruling someone out because of their race or their gender identity or their sexuality is a little bit messed up.
Not really. It's like a personal thing, and everybody has the right to choose that thing that is a very personal thing. If there's something that is really personal, is somebody's sex life, and you cannot dictate other people's sex life. And I can imagine, of course, that this is the problem with when you go trans people, because you have heterosexual people that, again, like you said, for example, heterosexual woman is attracted to a man with a penis. And then you have a trans woman that still has a penis. In the minds of a normal person, that's not a man, that's not a woman. So they don't care. Of course they will not be attracted to that. And then you have homosexual woman, and you have trans woman that has a penis. She doesn't want a penis, she doesn't like a penis. She's attracted to a woman. And that's again not a man, not a woman. When the full transition again is successful, a lot of times that opens the door to solve this problem, because if the transition is successful, some people, a small percentage of people, will want to date that person, but you cannot force them to.
Now let's delve into how misinformed and possibly racist a lot of racial preferences are. Skin colour, and to a slightly lesser extent if someone's trans or not, are things that you can see. So it makes sense they will play a role in you deciding if you're attracted to somebody. But you can't, or at least you shouldn't, ignore why you feel a certain way about a particular race. A lot of the time, people's perceptions of different races are based on stereotypes. Being super into Asian girls is fine, but being into them because you think that they're submissive or traditional is not. If you refuse to date a black man because they're rough or hood, then you need to analyse why, because 1, there are a lot of exceptions to these massive generalisations, and 2, grouping together an entire group of people based on their skin colour is insanely narrow-minded and ignorant at best, and racist at worst.
No, I'm sorry, that's not the reason why people are not attracted to certain races. It's about facial features, it's about hair features, it's about certain body characteristics. It's a physical thing, it's not a psychological thing. Do you understand that? Do you understand that some, for example, people look at white people and are not attracted to white people features? Some people look at black people and they are not attracted to black people features. It's something that is naturally develops in you. It's nothing to do with society or stereotypes.
I want to acknowledge now that people who don't want to date someone of a certain race or gender identity can have completely valid reasons. I just think it's important to note how there's a bias in society leaning towards certain groups of people and leaning away from others. These little sauce hands. And to let those go completely unquestioned is quite unsettling. OkCupid did a study in 2014 about racial preferences. People often say that their preferences are personal, like it's just them alone who thinks these things, and therefore it doesn't affect wider society, so why do we care? And if that were that case, you'd expect these answers to be random as heck. But shockingly, they're not. As you can see, there is a clear preference for white men and Asian women, and a large preference against black people.
Actually, your chart doesn't show that. It shows that every race is more attracted to their own race and then to races closer, more similar to them. And everybody loves Asian people. Asian people are like always very well rated in almost every preference. So, but in the rest is like every race has like attraction to closer to their own race. So basically just summing up that the preferences are natural.
Now remember, these are just people's personal preferences. So, friends, are we going to chalk this one up to a crazy coincidence? Or are we going to start analysing why we prefer certain races or people who are cis or able-bodied? There are lesbians who are being sexually abused by men in the past, and so a penis is very triggering, and it's just something that they never want to revisit again, and that's fine. There are people who don't want to date white people because they've experienced abuse at the hands of a white person, and that's completely valid as well. There are reasons for drawing a hard line on not dating a certain group of people, but the majority of the time people saying that they don't want to date a trans person aren't dealing with those reasons. They just don't want to fuck a trans person.
And they have the right to do so, and you are no one to guilt trip them into thinking otherwise.
And again, not saying that you have to, I just think it's important to analyse why. My discussion on someone who won't date somebody who's disabled is going to be super short because frankly, I find it quite ridiculous. Because, spoiler, literally anybody can become disabled at literally any point in their lives. If you say that you wouldn't date a disabled person and that you would dump someone you're in love with if they became disabled, then you're just a horrible person.
Now you just mix two different things into one to be very dishonest. One thing is to not be attracted to disabled people, and another thing is to dump somebody for becoming disabled. And of course, that can happen, but those are two very different things.
Yes, disability comes with a whole lot of difficulties, but if you're saying that if the love of your life was hit by a bus and could no longer walk, and that's why you're no longer into them, then honestly, they deserve a whole lot better.
If you're already dating someone, you already expect that you're dating that someone not just because of simple physical and sexual reasons. It's not just attraction. So a lot of times people will do the sacrifice if somebody becomes disabled. That's completely different between when you're trying to search for someone from ruling out someone who's disabled.
And here is the insane amount of disclaimer that I know most of the response videos will cut out. You don't have to date a trans person, or a black person, or a disabled person, or an Asian person, or a white person, or literally any kind of person. Before my current relationship, I'd never been with a trans person, and that's because truthfully, I just didn't know that many, and the ones that I did know, I just wasn't into. If you've never found a trans person, or a person of colour, or a disabled person attractive, then that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to be attracted to them, or date them, or anything like that. All I'm not saying is that you don't completely rule out anybody who isn't cis, white, or able-bodied. Have your preferences and be attracted to whoever you're attracted to, but just try to acknowledge that if you're going to completely rule out dating someone just because they're trans, then that's a little bit transphobic.
Fiona's final message is: you can have preferences, but if you then date trans people, you're transphobic. Great logic, right? If you like this video, leave a like, give me your opinion, share the video if you can. Follow me on Twitter. I sometimes forget to tell people to follow me on Twitter because my videos will always be up there. Stay fluffy.